Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Revenue Wrap, our weekly show where we bring on entrepreneurs, resellers, anybody that we think can help you with your business and so on. And tonight, I'm excited to say we have Margaret Collier, who is resellers. Oh, let me get right on that. That we think can help you with your business. I always forget that part somehow. Margaret Collier, Texas Gal Treasures. She has a YouTube channel as well. And that's where you can find her. There will be a link down below the bottom of this video. Let's check our sound first, Margaret. So how do I sound, everyone? Let me know if you can hear me. And then Margaret, if you'll say something too, so we can check that.
Okay. Hi, everybody. How's it going? How do I sound?
Yeah, and the chat's going to be just a little bit delayed coming up. So we'll see if anyone can hear, probably take a moment for everyone to hear us. But if you guys heard good sound on that, please let us know in the chat. If there was any issues, let us know. We'll try to fix them. Tanya says,
sounds good. Sorry.
Perfect. Good. So, Margaret, you are a reseller, obviously. And as I put in the description, you're on different platforms and so on. But why don't you tell our viewers about, how you got started with this and how you've been doing it, and just a little bit about what you do and who you are.
Okay, yeah, hi, I'm Margaret. My channel is Texas Gal Treasures, and that's where I am pretty much everywhere, eBay, Etsy, everywhere. I'm Texas Gal Treasures. How did I get started? That was a lot on that question. I started, let's say, about 3.5 or so years ago, maybe a little less, maybe closer to 3 years ago. I quit working about 3 years ago as a teacher, and I quit working to stay home with my boys when they started school, and so I started having a lot of time at home with the kids, and gosh, now I'm nervous. What did I tell you? I get put on the spot and then I start getting nervous. Let's see. So yeah, my husband, was trying to give me some time away from the kids one Saturday and sent me out, and said, hey, why don't you go get some coffee, hang out at a coffee shop, go to garage sale, whatever. Well, I went to garage sales, and I had already set up an Etsy store to sell some of my grandmother's things after she had passed away. And I started looking around at garage sales and finding things that I didn't particularly want, but I thought other people might like, and it just kind of snowballed from there. But with the reselling, the YouTube was different and later. Okay,
and we'll get into that. But how did you, what made you make the transition from teaching and so on? That's kind of interesting that you went from teaching into this, and obviously there's some teaching aspect to being on YouTube and so on. So where did you teach at? Not where, but like what levels and so on. What was that? What did that look like?
So I taught for 14 years. I was an elementary school teacher. I started in the 4th grade and just gradually worked my way down to kindergarten. So when I retired, I taught kindergarten for the last 2 years. And I honestly, when I quit, I thought I would sub, to make some extra money on the side. And I thought, I do volunteer up at my boys' school. But I honestly thought, well, maybe someday I'll go back to teaching. And this just kind of came out of nowhere. I didn't know anybody that did this. And I think Tanya was mentioning this before about almost feeling like you're stealing. You're like getting such good deals from garage sales to go resell. It almost feels like it should be illegal. So when I first started finding things at garage sales, I felt like, is this right? Can I do this? Is this like frowned upon? Is this morally correct? I mean, I went through all of these emotions. And at this point, I didn't even know about YouTube videos about this. I was so green behind the ears. And I forgot the rest of the question.
No, I think you got it.
Okay.
Looks like Rose City Stitcher was saying, hi, I teach 1st grade and sell on eBay as well. So fellow teacher, maybe still
awesome.
So now you're selling and so on. And so tell us about like a typical day looks like for you, because I think a lot of people, I know on my channel and probably your channel too, one of the issues I think a lot of, especially new sellers have, and I have a lot of new sellers that come on my channel, and I'm sure you do as well, is what do I need to do each day instead of just, reacting to things? What does it look like for you? What's sort of the steps that you take on a typical day or maybe a typical week, almost a schedule, if you will? What does it look like?
Well, as of right now, because it's summertime, everything is like out the window because the kids are home 24/7. But the majority of the year, basically, my day is scheduled like the first thing in the morning, I package things up and take to the post office. And then the rest of the day, we have a group called International League of Thrifters where we have a weekly challenge. So generally, one of us are running that, but we're all participating. So at that point, I'm deciding, am I taking photographs that day? Am I listing, where in that direction? So I just, set that goal for the day within the group and go with it for the most part.
Okay. Oh, cool. So you kind of have kind of an idea about what you're going to do each day and so on. And guys, if you guys have questions for Margaret, please type in the chat box. Just type a few question marks and then type your question, so we'll know that it's there. And wherever we're at in talking, we'll get right into it. So, how much do you work on average? I mean, you consider this a full-time gig at this point?
Actually, I say I'm part-time because there are days. Pardon me. There are days that I am up, I spend pretty much every Friday up at my kids' school, so that's out, and I don't know, I would say 20 hours a week, maybe more. I mean, as far as reselling goes, YouTube is a whole nother story, but yeah.
Yeah. So, and how has that affected your family life? Because I know a lot of people, I have this struggle too. I've got a family, most of us do. And so how do you, sort of juggle that?
As far as financially, or just juggling it? Well,
yes, your bank account.
Yes. I mean, staying home was a big step. Going from 2 incomes to 1 was a huge step. And so we had figured out that we could make it. We were going to be pretty lean. And then when I started doing this, we were able to start having goals. At first, the first year, my goal was to pay for my kids, extracurricular things, with the money I made. And then this year it was to be able to pay for our trip to, we went to Spokane and drove, took a big road trip on the West Coast. So it just like slowly starts adding up from there. And just being able to, with some of the other platforms, like getting a little extra money selling on merch or Amazon, that money getting to go to pay for another extra payment for the van, So just slowly bringing down our family debt and yeah.
Okay. So do you think there's, obviously you found like a place to, work around, being part-time and having your family and so on. But do you think there's some sort of pattern or formula to, becoming successful at that? Because I think again, a lot of people, man, that juggle is tough. How do you juggle those responsibilities, but at the same time be successful in your business? So there's some sort of pattern or formula that you feel like you needed to do, or did you just trial by error, or did you go with what someone told you necessarily, or what did that look like?
Well, I think for sure, when I first started, I didn't know anybody else that did this. But when I did find YouTube and started watching other people, I did try to model kind of after what other people did, and it just fell apart and didn't work for me for the most part. So I think just knowing yourself and being able to read your own cues when you're trying out other people's methods, and you just have to know yourself enough to say, this is not working for me, and to be able to change gears, and figure it out, like take a step back. Because if you know me, which you probably don't, I just go headlong into stuff, and then like I jump first and ask questions later kind of deal. And so just for me, being able to take that step back is huge and say, wait, this is not working. Let me reconfigure things to make it work for us. So
Right.
You got to figure it out. That's the thing, basically. Everybody's got their own path.
Can you give us any examples of maybe where you did kind of go headlong or something, and then after a while you went, nope, that wasn't the right way?
Yeah. For example, with selling clothing, like I went out, people were selling clothing, and I was watching Steve back in the day when he was selling suits, and man, I was down finding suits, and I was going to sell these suits, and yeah. And so, it was just me. I felt like it wasn't wasted time. It was definitely a learning experience. I learned that this is not what I love to do. But at the same time, it made me optimistic that there are these different options out there. Am I even answering the question? I just went off on a different tangent, I think.
Hey, it's your answer. Answer it however you want.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, just being able to know yourself. I mean, look at different people's models for sure. And maybe this work, you know, a little bit of Jason works for me, and I'm gonna take a little bit from Steve and a little bit from Tanya, and I'm gonna mush it all together and make it Margaret.
Liz Richardson says, "Hi guys, Zodiac and flipping, huh? I'm an Aquarius. Is that why I keep picking up the weird stuff?" I'm not sure what that means.
Well, Tanya was saying that it's the Taurus in me that just goes headlong into things, and she knows me well. She knows that I guess I bull through things and then be like, "Oh wait, sorry, dude. Maybe I should step back." And
that should have been a question on my list. Like, what zodiac sign are you, and how does that affect your reselling?
Exactly.
Right.
That would take it in a whole new direction.
I know, right?
So what's your zodiac sign while we're on the topic?
I am a Leo, and that probably doesn't surprise some people. But anyway, we won't go down that. We're not going to go down that path. Yeah, right. Yeah, see, now I've totally lost my train of thought. So,
sorry.
So today, so going to more, maybe more item specifics, what sort of areas are you selling on, you know, and what would you say, like, do you have a preference between platforms? I mean, I know you're on more than one platform. Do you have a preference? How does that kind of affect, you know, what you're going out and sourcing and so on? I mean, I've seen some of your videos and so on, but I'd like to kind of hear it, and I think our viewers would, kind of in your own words.
Right. I started that on Etsy, and because it was what I was comfortable with. Honestly, eBay scared me in the beginning. There it is. And so it was just because Etsy, oh my gosh, I just saw what you put over there. So Etsy was way more social and user-friendly and just sort of a softer platform. I don't know if that makes sense compared to eBay, you know. And so when I first started, Etsy was, I was all in for Etsy. And it wasn't, I mean, I guess I have to go back and look to see when I started listing on eBay. I think it's when I started getting items that I couldn't list on Etsy and I had to have somewhere to put them. So my preference when I first started was Etsy. And I know, but I would say if somebody asked me now if they were just getting started, I would say on eBay, to start on eBay, because you might find success quicker that way. Etsy does take some time to kind of build up and get people following you and favoriting items and to get more exposure. So
and I don't mean to interrupt, but if someone started on eBay, what would you recommend they kind of go towards? You know, maybe an area or specific, or I don't know how specific you want to get with that, but what would you recommend?
Ooh, that's a good question. I can't answer that because everybody's different, you know? Like, go with what you know is what I would say. You know, like, I see people that can sell the heck out of albums or cassettes or videos or games, and I've tried, or electronics. I mean, go with what you know for sure, or what you know what I mean? Like, I like selling jewelry, and I love selling men's accessories. And then from there, just knickknacks. I don't know, little things. Right. I love, you know, doing mugs and plush and hats and yeah.
Now, would you say that you're more of a volume seller, or are you more for individual items? What would you say to that?
I would say individual items for sure. I have volume, but
so what's kind of like your listing totals look like? If you want to share that, if you don't want to, I understand.
Sure.
But
I have no secrets. When you say my listing volume, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, like how many listed items do you tend to average on a month between your platforms and so on that you sell on?
Let's see. I would say, let's see, on a good month, crossing fingers, between 150, 200 items. Because my goal when I'm listing, I try to list at least 10 items a day. So, and then there's always a day or so off that I know I don't get things listed. Some days I do more, some days I do less. So, I mean, that would be, 50 or 60 items a week, maybe, is on a good week. So, yeah.
Right. And, that's a question that comes up too that I deal with, it's like how, people I think want to know, I mean, I don't know if it's kind of like they want instant success or what, but they want to know sometimes, how many listings do I need to make X number of dollars?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, do you even look at it that way, or do you just say, I'm going to list what I find, or I'm going to set a minimum listing goal? You mentioned 10, but what is, how do you come to that sort of decision about, well, how many items am I going to list and have listed?
No, I get that. I mean, and I think, again, it's different for everybody because I'm not a full-time seller and my family's income is not depending on it. I can be a little more loosey-goosey about it. But yeah, if and I say this to my husband, if God forbid something happened to his job and we had to ramp it up, I think what we would do is look at like listing as far as amount sold, like instead of saying I need to list 10 items, I would say, okay, I need to list things that would bring home $300 a day, or $500 a day, I wish, right? So we would just have to kind of restructure the way that was done. And for sure, hustle harder, I'm able to kind of be a little loose with it and casual, I feel,
Cool. 43 viewers, guys, please hit the like button down below if you like this video and so on, and you like what all this good stuff that Margaret is giving you on this video. Roman has a question, and it's kind of tying in what we were saying. It says, how many listings is a good average per day?
I guess it depends on your goals, I mean, my goals were, again, just casual, like trying to get a certain amount, I tried to get $250 or more a week, and generally I get between $250 to $400, $500 on a good week. But if you are trying to have a full-time income at this, then you would have to figure out what would that look like for you? What would financially meet your needs at home and pay not just your bills, but have a little bit of cushion because, the vet happens and emergencies happen,
So do you tend to, I'm sorry, I may interrupt you.
No.
Do you tend to list items kind of for the, the fast nickel or the slow dime approach? Do you want to get your money back out of it quickly, or are you willing to let items set for a while, maybe price a little higher, or maybe, what's your approach?
I have both. Yeah, I do. I have some items that have been there for a while, and then I'm willing to wait for the buyer to come along. But then I also have some items that, I bought. There's a lady that does she does home clean outs, and so she has these big garage sales, after she organizes people's homes. And I've bought like cosmetics from her, or face cream, which is not my normal thing, but I know it will sell. And those are those quick, $15, $20 sales that'll come in pretty steady. And that I'm happy with, spending $1 and getting 15 off of it. But then I've got bigger items that I'll wait for the bigger tickets. Right.
Sure. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So talk about your Amazon business. What do you look, Amazon's obviously a different animal. I sell on Amazon well, but I feel like I haven't really gone after Amazon until the last maybe 2.5, 3 months. So I'm definitely not much of an expert. I'm not even sure I'm a newbie on Amazon. I don't think I'm even to that level yet. And it's a different animal than eBay. It has a lot of different rules and, the different way of listing. Your listing is an ASIN and one listing usually. What's your Amazon business look like, and what are you trying to accomplish with that? How does that look for you?
Okay, so Amazon is, oh gosh. Okay, so I have a saying where I'm like the catfish of Amazon, or Amazon sourcing. This is my little catfish sign for Amazon, because I don't go out and do RA or retail arbitrage where I go through Target and scan every single item. Basically, the way I source for Amazon most of the time is from thrift stores or garage sales. If I see things that are new in package, or Dwayne, sorry, he says I'm trying to take over the world. I will succeed. Anyway, so I go, to garage sales and thrift stores and pick up, things that are new in box, or I'm going to actually start trying to send in some board games, used board games. And then I just send those in. And honestly, I'm not very good about sending in shipments Tanya and I have talked about making a like once a week commitment to send in at least one shipment. But yeah, I just send it in and just the money trickles home, and that makes me happy. You know, there are guys that hit it hard and do really well, and it's awesome, you know, to see that. And honestly, hanging out with everybody, you know, I went to the Austin Green Room meetup, and a lot of them are really heavy Amazon. Some of them are exclusively Amazon full time, you know, and just hanging out with them and seeing what they do. I'm like, oh, this is, you know, you can see the romance in it. Like, oh yes, this is awesome.
Yeah. I mean, Amazon allows you to scale a business really quickly if you want.
Right.
But it kind of takes a good chunk more capital, I find, because I'm a jean seller primarily on eBay.
Right.
And jeans are readily available and cheap, which
Right.
was the initial reason I sort of focused on those. But they're time consuming, and you can't send them into Amazon, for instance, because they're used jeans.
Yeah.
But yeah, Amazon's a whole different animal. And so do you have any desire to ramp that up into, I mean, obviously you don't necessarily need the income right now because of your, you know, you have another income in the family and so on, but
Right.
is it ever something you think you would do?
I do. And honestly, as I've been cleaning out my workroom, I was just saying this in another video, it's embarrassing how much stuff I'm finding, you know, that I've just kind of like set to the side, like, oh, I'm going to send this to Amazon. I literally have tubs and like at least 4 tubs full of stuff ready to go to Amazon that I picked up specifically for Amazon that has been sitting in there, you know, games and toys and new in-box stuff. And it's embarrassing. So, yeah.
I think we all have that. I think we were talking in the pre-show about, I have a closet of just, you know, it's the closet of unwanted shirts.
Yes.
And they've sat, and I just think it's just time for them to go. You know, they're either going to get listed or they're leaving. And, you know, but anyway, we all have those rooms, those bins, those vats, and it's tough. You just got to get rid of it. Walking Picker asks, eBay or Etsy, if you can only list on one of them, which one would you pick?
Come on, Chris. Why you want to do that to me? Like if the world was ending and I had to choose, you might be surprised. Like I would probably pick eBay. I love Etsy. I love the fees are low. I love it so easy, but I get more sales on eBay. It's true. And I can list a wider variety of items on eBay. So that might be a surprise. There's like a little fly. Sorry if I keep randomly waving at things, but yeah.
No, that's okay. I killed a mosquito today that's been in this house for like 6 days. I finally got it today.
Congratulations.
Yes. But man, because they love me, they just bite me repeatedly. So yeah, and that's a good point. I'm not as familiar with Etsy. But I know it's just primarily like vintage and handmade things and things like that, right?
Yeah, and supplies but I mean, as long as it's an option, I don't give it up because especially around the holidays, like I have a comparison when I do my weekly sales update, you know, like who won this week, eBay or Etsy? And most of the time lately, eBay's been winning, but right around those holidays like Q4 and then back into January, people are really looking to Etsy for more unusual gifts and things like that. So my Etsy sales go up. And some weeks it's like, that's an extra $100 that I wouldn't have otherwise, you know, or 200, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it adds up, especially if it's $100 a week. I mean, that's, you know, what, $5,000 a year.
Look at you with your math. Good job.
I mean, trip to Hawaii. So tell us about maybe the worst thing you've ever bought, because and I hesitate to ask this question, and you know, worst is kind of a subjective term,
right?
But you know, we all hear on here, we go to these YouTube channels and so on of mine, and I did great, I bought this, I bought that, I've been buying this and selling the crap out of this. But you know, what are maybe some of the worst the worst buys you've made, and why do you think you bought them? What was your mindset?
So, worst buys overall were clothing items. And that was probably because I didn't have a passion for selling them. I would, you know, like you said earlier, I was watching all these videos, and I love that people do well with clothing, and I love seeing people do well with clothing, and I'm happy for them. But I just have no passion for it. So I would pick up clothes. I know Dwayne, I sold some clothes to him. I had picked up all these jackets and suits and things. I finally just said, I can't do it. And so we had like a little chat where I'm showing him everything I've got. And he was like, send me that, send me that, send me that. And I just sent him a big box of clothes, like suits and jackets and things. So that was my big one, just not knowing. I mean, but I think that it was a good education for me, you know, dabbling in different areas to see what I like, what I don't like, what works for me, what doesn't work for me. But then the personal, I wouldn't say it's a worst object, but it's like, how am I going to unload this like white elephant sitting in the other room? You know, I've got this, it's really cool. It's a Vietnam era Army field desk, but it's ginormous. And I bought it and I have no idea what I'm going to do with it now. It didn't, I had a booth, an antique booth, and I thought it would sell there. But now it didn't, and I have it now forever.
So I was going to say, that's going to be a tough one to ship. Definitely local pickup only, right?
Right. I mean, I could do Craigslist, but I'm a scaredy cat. So.
Yeah, you kind of have to, you know, I have the same issue. I have this big book lot I bought a few months back, and I'm still trying to get rid of the duds, if you will. So I've bulked them on eBay. And the funny thing is, when people come to the house to get them, because there's no way, I mean, it's about 3,000 books. So no way I'm going to take 3,000 books to someone. But when if they come to the house, you know, I block the door of the garage, so there's no way they can get into the house.
Right.
But kind of funny. But I'm still trying to get rid of them. So if anybody wants to buy 3,000 books, they're not that great for Amazon, so you're not going to make a lot of money. But hey, it's 3,000 books. I'll make you a deal. Anyway, we have a couple comments in here. Let's see. I have Joni says I have Etsy sales. They have been paid with PayPal. Oh, is PayPal not available on Etsy? I don't even know.
Pardon me. I have Etsy sales. They have been paid with. I think so. I mean, I think you can pay with PayPal on Etsy.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
So, yeah.
You have to test the waters to know what you like to sell. Now, that's an interesting question, because a minute ago you said that, you know, you didn't have a passion for some of the things that were your duds. And that was maybe like some clothing items. But, you know, how do you test the waters? You know, I mean, if you're passionate about it, you're not really testing the waters. You're like, I want to go sell this, but sometimes it's not what you thought it was cracked up to be, right?
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. Like, people will say to me that I have a good eye, but I don't feel like I have a good eye. I feel like I just buy a lot of things across the board. If I see things I've never seen before, or I try so many different things, and then I have a lot of things that don't work out. And then I have things that do work out. So I'm just willing to take that chance, you know, I think is what it is.
Yeah. And that's kind of the, I guess the scatter shot approach. You know, you spread wide and, you know, maybe not so deep in any one area, but you're kind of trying to find, you know, a variety of things to sell and so on.
But then when you find the things that hit, it's like, okay, then I can stick my finger deeper into that pie.
Oh yeah, that's a good point, and that's a great point for also if you are doing Amazon, especially, you can get quantity, you know, of an item. You know, that's a different animal. You know, if you're doing retail arbitrage and some of these other techniques and so on, is that something you dabble in, is retail arbitrage for Amazon? Or
I do,
but
I do it around Q4 a little bit, you know, and then, for example, if I'm at Target with my kids and I'll scan a few things here and there, or along the back clearance aisles, I'll scan a few things, and
yeah. I think we all do that too. I think every time I walk in Target, they just follow me back to that aisle now. So
yeah.
I may need to pretend like I'm going somewhere else.
Do they follow you?
No, they don't follow me, but you know, Target's I've got a lot of Targets around me, which is a blessing and a curse at the same time. And honestly, I don't really find them that great in terms of the sourcing I've done. You know, you'd think they'd be great, but the markdowns around me are not that great, honestly. But I've had them, they give me some looks, but I do shop there for other things, so it's not really that suspicious. Mothership Product says, have you ever rebought something you had donated? I have done that actually with jeans. I'm pretty sure at least once.
You know, Dwayne, I don't think I have. I don't think I have seen things in the store that I have, you know, donated, and when I've gone back in, seen them there. So, but I've never rebought anything.
Yeah, well, it's easier with jeans and clothing because after a while, every pair looks the same.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you've gone through, you know, a couple thousand pair of jeans in a day. It's like, whatever. It's blue. It's got belt loops. I'm buying it. But anyway, Julie says, back in the 90s, I painted old country signs. I see them at Goodwill from time to time, and I've wondered, what if I rebought, I made and tried it again? LOL, who knows? Yeah, true. Maggie says, I have done that with books. Yeah, that's definitely possible. Books are a whole nother animal, but they are great for FBA. Chad, just Mr. Golden Finger Picker. And it was amazing. I found the same exact tear.
Tear.
I found the first tear. Oh, tear. I found the first guy. Took me a second.
Oh, Dwayne.
I know, right? So, you know, what's kind of your, you know, we've talked about platforms, we've talked about items and so on. What's kind of your mindset? What sort of mental approach do you take to all this? Because a lot of resellers, you know, and you and I were talking about this a little bit in the pre-show, they come into the business and they do take the scattershot approach, but maybe they haven't really thought out, you know, well, what am I trying to do here? And maybe they don't know, and they do have to try some. I mean, do you kind of have? I mean, you've been doing it a while now, but you know, and maybe you still remember those beginning days and so on, which a lot of viewers and people that are on our channels are beginners or relatively new. What's sort of the mindset you take? You know, you got all these challenges and you have goals, you know, what's that kind of look like for you in general?
Well, first I have to say, I don't feel like I've been doing it that long. I think compared to like some guys like Chad, I've been at it for maybe 3 years or so, 2.5, 3 years.
Chad's old, you know, so.
Oh my gosh, he's not that old.
I'm messing with him.
So, I mean, I feel like I still feel like, you know, I'm pretty new. I mean, I share a lot, so maybe that's why it seems like I've been at it for longer, but I forgot the question. I'm pretending like I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, like your mindset, you know, I mean, you're in business, you're doing it part-time, as you mentioned, but you know, you don't strike me, or I don't think anybody watching is the type of person who just gets up and wings it every day. I mean, you've got some sort of, you know, mindset around, well, okay, here's what I'm doing. And I mean, you've got a YouTube channel going too, which puts on a whole nother layer of responsibilities and commitment, you know, so, you know, kind of what does that look like for you in general, you know, or how do you conceptualize, you know, this business, I guess, for lack of a better word?
Well, I mean, I guess just I don't take a whole lot of things too seriously. You know what I mean? And yeah, this is my business, but if I didn't like it and I didn't enjoy it, I would go do something else. You know what I mean? So if I'm not enjoying it, I'm not going to do it. So I guess, I mean, that's kind of my mindset about pretty much everything. I mean, there are responsibilities that have to be met for sure, but there's a way to do it and still enjoy what you're doing. Because I mean, I don't know. And we kind of talked about this before. There's some people that get so serious or you know, so like their mindset is just a certain way and anything outside of their mindset is wrong. And I don't know. I mean, answering this question, but I don't feel like I wing it for sure, but I definitely feel like if I'm not enjoying it, I'm not doing it.
Right. And what would you do if you weren't doing this?
Ooh, I don't know. That's a good question.
All right. We can come back to it if you want to think about it.
I'm not going to say. Go on.
All right. We can go. That was not on the list. I usually send everyone a list of questions, you know. But as
No, I
Tanya
don't.
will tell you, there's always at least 1 or 2 surprises, you know. So,
No, I don't. I mean, it's a good question because honestly, I don't know what I would be doing. I mean, maybe, I really enjoy making YouTube videos. So maybe I'd go further with that. I really enjoy, I don't know. I would have to find something that I really enjoy doing and go with it. I'm enjoying making shirts for merch. That's
right.
fun. I don't make a ton of money at it, but
Can you explain to the viewers what merch is? Because some people might not know what that is.
so merch is something by Amazon put out. Basically, you can upload designs for shirts and they print it for you. So basically, once you've uploaded your design onto merch, you're done, unless you want to change it out. And if somebody orders the shirt, at that point, Amazon takes it and prints the shirt and does the shipping and everything like that. So it's sort of, I mean, it feels like free money. Once you've done the work and uploaded the shirt design, the money, I don't make, Glenn Zubia from Hustler Hacks, he makes really good money at this. And mine is, again, just a little part-time extra money that I make, so.
And is it kind of a volume type of business? Like, the more designs you send in, the more shirts that get ordered, and therefore the more money you make, or is that how it works? Or I don't really know a lot about it either.
You start off, you get 25 designs that you can upload. Once you have sold 25 shirts, then they tier you up to the 100 level. Then you can upload 100 shirts. Once you've sold 100 shirts, they tier you up to the next level. So you have to have good designs that people like, that give good reviews in order for them to bump you up to the next level.
Cool. So that was not on the list of questions. We all learned something here because I really don't know how it works. I haven't done it. And because I have absolutely no creative talent in my body, I probably won't be pursuing that. But
you got to do it. It's free money.
It is free money. If you guys are creative, or you can come up with, sayings or designs and so on, check out merch by Amazon.
Okay, let me tell you one of my tricks.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you one of my. I am not like a fan. I don't make fancy. And there are guys like, say, Glenn makes really fancy shirts. Some people make great, amazing shirts. I sold a shirt, or have sold a number of these shirts, and I'll share because whatever. It says huge. You like YUGE period huge. That's it.
Oh, I see what you're doing there.
So, I mean, there's no creativity. It's like white on a colored shirt and take it, so a lot of mine are like text-based, just like a saying, like a word or a whatever.
Right.
So you got to try it. You got to try it.
Yeah, I might look into that, but I have no idea what I'll do. Guys, 47 viewers right now, so thank you for that. If you're enjoying the video, enjoying Margaret and our interview here, please hit the like button. Also, if you have questions, type a few question marks in the chat box, and then your question, if you have a question for Margaret. And thank you so much for you guys coming out and supporting the channel and supporting Margaret. Liz says merch by Amazon is huge. Right. Huge. I don't think I can do it like Donald.
Yeah. Now I just need Hillary to come up with like a one-word thing that I can just pop it on a shirt.
I don't know what that would be. Probably lots of opportunities there in the political season, but you need to get them done by November because after that, it's over. And that actually brings up an interesting point. We found we were going through some items we had in the old house the other day, and we found a Barack Obama, I can't remember what it was, like a cup or a mug or something like that from when he first got inaugurated. And, to look at it, I didn't really think it was anything that special. But man, that thing is selling for like 75, 80 bucks. It was crazy. And he's getting ready to go out of office. So, when a few more months. So when you see opportunities like that, when situations change in the society,
right,
a good time to find stuff like that, right? To look for value.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing too. I think a lot of, knowing what's going on in social events and sporting, and just, I could probably do better if I knew more about what was going on in the,
Yeah, what's going on in the world. I mean, that's going to make you a better reseller, right?
Apparently,
So
Kim Kardashian and Taylor Swift are having a thing. I learned that because I was on Yahoo today. I know, right?
I,
Well, I mean, but this came up. I know. Forget that. But it came up when I found, I bought some games when we were on our trip and had them mailed home. I sourced some when we were on our trip, and some of them were Pirates of the Caribbean. And when I scanned them while I was there, the prices were okay, but I thought I would take a chance on them. When I did the unboxing, when I came home and scanned them again, I was like,
mhm.
what was I thinking? All of a sudden, the prices are like way more. And I'm saying, and I said to the chat, like, what is going on? Like, is Johnny Depp in the news or something? They make those prices go up. And sure enough, they were saying, oh, yeah, he's going through a big, nasty divorce right now. So I'm like, okay, I need to send these things in.
Yeah, and obviously, as Julie says, Pokemon is hot, hot, hot. Well, if they would go back inside and shop online.
I
Yeah,
have
so
a bunch of Pokemon games I need to list.
yeah, I mean, that's a great point. I think Pete, the Craigslist hunter, was talking about that on one of his videos recently. Like, hey, if you've got Pokemon, get it out the door.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet P 530 says, how do they? Oh, it just scrolled up. Let me. How do they prevent someone else from using your designs? Does Amazon watch over it? That's the merch by Amazon question.
They don't. But there's and I have to go back. There's a group called. I have to go back and look on Facebook. But Chris Green and I know Jason T. Smith had posted it again. There's a site where you can go and type in your designs or share look it up and see if somebody has taken your designs, and then there's a way to flag them to Amazon to let them know, which I haven't done yet. I probably ought to do, but there's a way to go in. There's too much. I mean, honestly, every time I pull up my merch account, there's a little notification saying they can't keep up with the demand. That's the thing. Like it's going so well that they can't print shirts and bump people up to the next levels as fast as these things are going,
Yeah, and that's the thing when it gets hot like that, guys. It's going to blow out so quick. You've really got to strike while the iron is hot on this stuff and just move it out the door and price it to sell, because you don't know how long these things are going to last, right? Pokemon's hot right now, but 3 months from now,
yeah,
it could be nothing special again. I mean, it's been okay, I think, from what I understand, all along, not like it is now.
Okay, let me tell you. I have we went to the green room meetup this couple weekends ago. I have games in my room, Pokemon games that I bought last year at the meetup that are still sitting in my room that I have not listed. This is how bad it is in there. So, but maybe they'll sell well now.
Yeah, it probably will. I mean, now it just seems like you can put anything up there with Pokemon on, it's going to sell. But I was going to ask you too. We brought up your YouTube channel, and you've had that for what, less than 2 years? Is that right?
Yeah, I started a year ago in February.
Okay.
Well, I started consistently making videos in February.
So, and I just wanted to say, as an aside here, you have what, 5,400, 5,300, something like that, subscribers?
5,000 something. Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to say, as an aside, that's pretty impressive. And if you haven't checked out Margaret's channel, that alone should tell you that people are finding value there and sticking around, because to me, that's quite a jump up. I mean, I've had this channel really only been posting videos on it since about February, and just hit 1,000, and it seemed like it was a struggle. So for you to go to 5,000 in less than 2 years, bravo for that. I mean, that's awesome.
No, that's really fast though. I mean, I think you'll be there lickety split too. And I think I think getting subscribers honestly is like compounding interest. You know what I mean? If you have more, it starts snowballing faster. And so, right. I mean, you'll see that it'll start growing quicker and quicker and quicker, as people, yeah. It's almost as if having more subscribers is, I don't know how to say it. Like, if you see a channel that has, 500,000 subscribers, it sort of gives them a boost in your brain, like other people are finding value in that. And so, maybe I should check them out and subscribe, Right. So whether or not I bring value, I don't know.
Well,
I bring nonsense, that's for sure.
Well, people come to these channels for all kinds of reasons. Pittsburgh Mike says he just unsubscribed. Nah, he's just kidding.
Thanks a lot.
No, he's just kidding. Margaret does fun shows. I enjoy them. Jenny said, so, making it fun is always a cool thing. I've watched some of your old videos, Margaret. You've come a long way. Shy girl, love it though. Julie, and Joni just says Margaret rocks. So there you go. What's the kind of the gist of your channel? I mean, what do you focus on with it?
Well, when I first started out, I have an echo now. Is it gone?
It's gone.
Okay. When I first started out, it was basically straight reselling. And then I'm always silly. I always do goofy things and say goofy things. I just can't help it. And then I've started branching out, and I went through a big phase of not being sure if I should. I asked everybody that, my general, people that generally watch me, what do you think? Should I make another channel, to share my unboxings and my vlogs and my cat videos and whatever else I happen to do. And I think I had 2 people tell me, yeah, make a new channel. And everybody else was really supportive and just saying we are here to watch you. We don't care. You can sit there and eat a bowl of soup, which is really nice. But I think honestly, and I just did a video about ways to start on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
The community aspect of it is huge. I mean, I'm looking in the chat over here, and I don't see just random names. I see friends. I see Joni. Hey, Joni, we were just talking. Well, we didn't talk today, but she called and left me a message. And Dwayne, I know Dwayne. I've met him in person. And I saw Glenn. It just feels like it's not just I'm talking to me and the computer. I have actual friends. I see names. I don't know. I think that's huge. Get to know the people that are regularly watching you and make those connections. And there's Barbara. Hi, Barbara. And I have people say, when you do live videos, Margaret, it sounds like Romper Room because you're over there saying, hi, Barbara, and hi, Glenn, and hi, Joni, and hi, Dwayne. But I think it's totally key. And I don't feel like I'm just talking to myself anymore. I feel like I know who I'm talking to, and I have a feeling like they'll like or dislike. I don't know. It's a whole trust and friendly thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the beauty of this YouTube channels, right? You develop a community, and you get friendships out of it, and also and of course you're sharing information because nobody has it all.
Yeah, and the thing too is I trust my okay, there's haters, and I have people that come and say nasty things to me, but if I don't know them, I don't care. But let's say Joni or Barbara or somebody or Dwayne came over to my channel and was like, Margaret, I think you crossed the line with something. I would respect that. I would listen to them. I feel like these are people I know now. These are friends. These are family. In ways I've make those bonding connections with people. And so it's yeah.
So I know you're a member of the Green Room, as am I. And I'm not going to give the big Green Room spiel here because we did that with Tom. But what sort of other groups are you a member of any other groups too? And what has that brought to your reselling, and how they helped you and helped you grow?
Well, we have Tanya and I, and there are a couple other ladies, Caroline Matthews, who also has a YouTube, and Fake Rachel, who also have a YouTube, and Barbara.
Mm-hmm.
We are all admins in the International League of Thrifters, ILOT. We call it ILOT. And so that's a good group.
It sounds like that would be like a James Bond organization or something. International League of Thrifters.
Exactly. We need a new cover. That might be good. We were going with the superhero theme, but I forget that. So I'm a member of that group. I'm a member. I'm on the Reseller Society, which is Chad's group. I am a member in the UK reselling group, which I feel like honorary member, over there. But the UK resellers, I don't know if you guys watch them, but I've made some amazing friendships watching some of my fellow UK resellers. I say fellow like I'm one of them, but literally I'm in a chat with a group of them every single day talking, So I don't know. I just feel like you just meet these people, they become close friends and feel like family. And I forget the question now. Groups, right? Yeah. Groups.
No, I think you answered. I mean, sitting here sometimes, whether you're on YouTube or listening or so on, I mean, and if you're working and there's other members of your family that are out of the house, if you don't have kids running around, or your husband or wife is somewhere else, or girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, it can be kind of lonely.
Yeah.
So it's nice to kind of have that extended, even if it's an online community, even if you haven't really met these people, you know.
Yes, yes.
I think Julie had a question, I believe. Do either of you ever feel just burned out? There are days when I don't even want to look at eBay.
Yes.
And what do you do when you feel that way, Margaret?
Honestly, Thursday, this last week, maybe it wasn't Thursday. Anyway, Tuesday or Thursday. So I took a break. I just did nothing. I said, you know what? I'm giving myself the day off. I'm not going to do anything for YouTube. One day I didn't upload a video. I'm sure the world noticed. Anyway, I didn't do anything for YouTube. I didn't go into my workroom. And honestly, the whole day I was just chomping at the bit, you know. But on the positive side, it kind of gave me that moment to step back and kind of refocus my attention on things like, where do I want to go in this direction? Where do I want to go in that direction? So it was tough for me to step back because I'm a go, go, go kind of girl. Not a go-go girl, but like go, go, go. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I would say, I would echo that sentiment. I actually I've had a couple different schedules I've been working on over the last few weeks, and I just finished a different one last night. It's like the schedule of it's like every week I come with a different schedule. But one thing I've had built in the schedule is a day off. And, you know, you find yourself in this business, part-time, full-time, doesn't matter. You find yourself, if you're not careful, working every day. And even if you're not working a lot of hours every day, I don't know about you, but I find that burns me out over time. Like, I'm just like, oh, I need to just step away from this for 24 hours and just, you know, do anything but this. And then I start feeling guilty usually after about 10 or 12 hours. But I still stick to it and say, this is my day off, and I'm not changing that. You know, I'm going to take that time off for the most part, and unless just something extraordinary happens. And, you know, that's how I deal with it. But you can still get burnt out in the middle of that 6-day week easily, right? 6 days can be brutal.
Yeah, yeah. But I don't do that very often where I take a full even if I'm just working for an hour that day, even on weekends, you know, I have something I'm doing a little bit here, a little bit there. So it's hard for me. And I have people say, how do you do all this stuff that you do? I'm like, I don't watch TV. I don't do much else, you know, family, YouTube, reselling. That's about it.
Yeah, Julie says, I totally do, but then I watch a couple of haul videos and I'm back on. I love the inspiration. Haha, I see what you did there, Julie. That was pretty funny. She's referencing, I think she's referencing the video I made earlier today about inspiration and haul videos, but we were talking about that earlier.
Yes.
So going back to the groups for a second, do you ever find that you get you know, the groups are kind of tricky for me because as they get bigger and bigger, it's kind of hard to sort of, you know, comb through them to find stuff. You know, do you ever get to a point where you say, man, this group is just not doing it for me, and I've just got to get out of this one? I mean, does that ever happen to you? And what would make you do that?
Honestly, and there's some that I've just hidden, some that I've left, just the negativity, honestly. And that's been one of the hardest things. Oh, you know what group I didn't mention? The thrifting board. Oh my gosh, that's a group I'm in all the time. That's Jason's group, Jason T. Smith's group. The negativity, just for no good reason. And learning as an admin, and I've talked to Jason like at these moments, sometimes I'll go to him as an admin, like, what do you do in this situation? He was like, it sucks, right? Being admin. But just like having to deal with the negativity of people has been really tough, you know, or being an admin in a group and people, I mean, making you draw that line with them. Like, I'm not really good at like saying, this is the line. Okay, fine. Don't cross it, you know, where they just keep pushing and pushing and pushing, you know. So I forget where this was going. Just, I don't understand the negativity. Like, what's the point? It's not productive, you know. I don't know.
Yeah, that always fascinates me too. Why so many people down eBay or down Amazon, or they're mad at PayPal, or they're mad at a buyer, or they're mad at I'm thinking, why are you doing this if this causes you so much grief and pain?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, for example, I just for fun, like I posted a thing in our group, like, okay, just let's take a break just for fun. Let's talk about books we like to read, because I'm an avid reader. So let's talk books real fast, you know. And the thread actually blew up. It was really popular. But this one lady was like, I don't like to read. I hate reading. You know, and so I was just like, okay. So everybody, I mean, people were trying to like, have you tried this? You know, how about audiobooks? And she's like, audiobooks suck. I hate them. And so finally, I mean, it just went on and on. Every time somebody said something to her, it was like naysaying. Like, why? I said, honestly, I need to know. Like, in a post that I said, this is just for fun. Why did you feel the need to come in and just like, I hate it. It sucks. I hate it. You know, like, why?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
No, I agree with you. And I had a group like that a few months back that I was a part of. And unfortunately, the admins themselves were some of the worst ones.
Oh.
And I just got to the point, it's like, man, every post is about rolling blackouts on eBay, or, you know, buyers scamming you. And it just,
Yeah.
it's not, not only was it negative, it just, I didn't learn anything. You know, I like to learn something from these groups, not just show up and just, I mean, I get for some people it's therapy, you know, or a way to vent, but it's kind of putting all the negativity on us so that you can feel better about it. You know, I don't know, maybe hire a psychiatrist, you know, I don't know if it's that bad, but.
Yeah, I mean, and this particular, because I always try to stay really positive, and I just asked, you know, really, I'm curious, why did you choose to like just naysay everything? She's like, fine, if I can't say what I want, I won't comment at all. You know, it was just like, what, whoa, you know, it was just really bizarre. Anyway, okay, I'll get off that.
No.
I don't understand. I don't understand the mindset, I guess, is my point.
Yeah, I don't either. You can go do other things if this is so horrible. You know, no one's forcing you.
Yeah.
What's sort of switching gears for a moment? What sort of tools do you use in your, you know, for eBay and Amazon, you know, like apps or, you know, things like that, services, subscriptions? What do you use to, you know, help facilitate your selling?
I use the Amazon Seller app. That's pretty much it. I mean, I have the eBay app, the Amazon Seller app to look things up. There's not a whole lot else that I use. Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, and I was wondering too, you know, doing things on the back end for like business and so on, because a lot of people will come on and, you know, I get these questions on my channel from time to time, just, you know, how do I keep track? I think I had one tonight right before we got on, I read, you know, talking about how do you pay taxes and all this, you know, which gets in a whole nother, you know, question, but, you know, you kind of have to have some way to kind of keep track of things. What does that look like?
I do use GoDaddy. So that keeps track of a lot of things on the back end. But then I also, because I'm a numbers nerd, apparently, I also do Google Docs spreadsheets where and I know it takes time and it's probably unnecessary, but I like to see the numbers and I like to see what I paid and the fees and the output, like what I made on it. And for me, and I love it. I mean, that's for me like verification that I'm on the right track, you know? Right.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So we're heading towards the end of the hour here. We started a little bit after 9, just so. One final question I was going to ask is, if someone's brand new to this, and we talked about them starting and so on, and they're nervous or skeptical, what would you say to that person in terms of, you know, if they want to start reselling? Because I get these people sometimes say, oh, I'm so scared. I don't know what they're really scared of, you know, but they're scared of something to do with reselling. You know, I'm scared of Amazon, or I'm scared of eBay, I'm scared of buyers. What would you say to them? You know, what would you say? Just like what would you, words of encouragement, or would you say, hey, you should be leery, it's okay to be scared, or, you know, what would you say?
Yeah, I would say for sure with Amazon, I was scared too. And it took, because you hear so many stories about like Amazon being so strict about things and pulling the plug, but I would say, you know, take the opportunity to call those customer support lines. I did, like when I was sending my first Amazon shipment, you can watch as many YouTube videos as you like, but I am all for going straight to the source. So call those customer support lines. They're there to help you. I called, I don't know how many times, probably 3 or 4 times on my first shipment, making sure I was doing everything exactly right. They were super patient, helped me, walked me through it. I don't know, just you got to take the plunge, even if you just list one item. And in the beginning, for me, like shipping was horrible. That was my downfall. I didn't ship things right, and I had so many comments about things not being done right as far as shipping went. But you just have to take those experiences and learn with them. So, yeah.
Yeah, and the great thing is, you know, between, you know, I have a channel, you have a channel, but there's lots of reseller channels out there, so you can learn a lot of these things. If you don't know how to do them, you can watch somebody who will walk you through literally step by step how to do an Amazon shipment, how to list things on eBay, how to figure out how much things weigh and the best way to ship them.
Yeah.
Of course, the tough part is always, you know, separating the good from the bad, but that's just part of it, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and that's why for a while there I was doing these how to ship videos. I mean, and for me, it felt like such a simple thing, but I got so many questions like, well, how would you ship those cufflinks? How would you ship that hat? How would you ship that plate? You know? And so I was like, fine, when I do my shipping tomorrow, I'm going to do a quick video on how I shipped every single thing I shipped, you know, so people can just go. And even then I learned, you know, people will put in the comments, oh my gosh, Margaret, there's such an easier way, you know? So you know.
Yeah, Ronnie Hart did that for me. I was selling jeans. I've been selling jeans for a while, and I was shipping me in these vinyl bags. But when you do that, you can just ship them priority mail rate. So I was paying like, you know, about $8.25 on average, depending on where it went. And he's like, man, padded flat rate bubble mailers, you know, and your cost is $5.90. I'm going, oh.
Right?
I just added $2 profit to every pair of jeans I shipped out, basically.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I'm going, that's why I go to you, Ronnie, because you know these things, you know, and
yeah,
and nobody knows it all, and nobody knows.
No, this is true. Yeah, and I definitely don't. So I'm always open for people telling me, you know, in the comments when they tell me better ways to do things. I'm always grateful because I love better ways. You know.
Yeah, that's good. You're always still learning and always still evolving, and I think that's the key to being successful, really, in anything, not just reselling, but really anything.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to wrap it up. It looks like we hit 60 viewers at one point, which is awesome. Thank you very much for that. Please hit the like button if you haven't already. We really appreciate you guys turning out tonight. Special thanks to Margaret, obviously, who was our willing guest. She filled in last minute for Ronnie, who will be on the show, I promise you, but he just had a commitment he could not get out of. But I really appreciate you coming on doing the show, Margaret. Short notice. I didn't contact you about it, I don't think, till yesterday, right? It was literally 24 hours. And you're very gracious with your time and your answers. And I'm sure everyone who watched got a lot out of it. And, you know, I speak for everybody on my channel and probably lots of people when I say we wish you all the continued success. And, you know, don't be a stranger. And I'm sure hopefully we'll have you back on sometime in the future and you can update us on how everything's going. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for having me on. All right. All right, guys. So that's going to do it for another episode of Revenue Wrap. We're going to wrap it up. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys soon. Take care.